All right. Well, so my game, quote unquote, for this week was Flashcards by Cybikitty, which were literally PNG files. It was just a folder full of PNG files like this that you're supposed to use in like a game jam, right?
You
Where
lucked
sit
out,
around.
dude. This sounds awesome.
You try to figure out like what kind of game you want to make. So I'm like, well, I can't review that, so I'm just going to make a game. So I use Quick Team Fusion. It's sort of like a storyboard based developer kit that you can use to kind of make real quick games. I just needed some inspiration, and so I found some. You Google Olafredine, there's
plenty
a wealth of information at your fingertips. So this is Quick Team Fusion. You create objects and then assign actions to those objects, a lot of if-then statements, and giant pictures for Olaf. So I had what I needed to get started. Here's kind of the way the storyboard editor works, and you use it to just really rough out a game. So this was me kind of roughing out like a prototype for the game I wanted to make, and just making sure all the buttons worked and I could get the bullets going. And then stuff happened. I'm gonna have to turn it down.
The music.
Stuff happened, and I made a game. So it's gonna be strange. And I sent it to one of my friends, and I'm like, okay, this out of context is gonna be really strange. It's just generally strange.
Right, but I need you to play this game.
Here's my hand-drawn style in a dystopian universe where Olaf is flying at you in tiny little spaceships. You are shooting Fiserv Orange to get rid of.
Oh, you have shields, nice.
Offensive weapons.
So you have a shield and a blaster, and and you get through wave 1, and the frame rate gets worse because I don't have it like optimized in any kind of way. And then here's Robot Loft, who is shooting lasers at you. I'm just sticking to the thing. Look, I'm just doing what the flashcards told me to do.
This animation is top notch. I just want to point that out.
Only the finest.
So the clouds don't hurt you?
The buildings do. You can definitely run into the buildings. Here comes wave 3. That is a very old picture of Olaf from a Superman picture that he was in, and I'm like, why not make him a brain in a jar that shoots lasers at you? And he's dead.
That was rude.
Final level.
The
and boss. Chest.
I appreciate you not laying all the shade on me, so that's great.
Yeah, I knew that there was a final boss in there somewhere. The shield will block the bullets, and if you lose...
You misspelled
No, let's try this again. And he's dead. You have vanquished the AK. Congrats. Enter to restart. So...
that is fantastic. That is some good game action.
You're welcome.
So,
the game is uploaded to the OneNote, so you're all welcome to play it. It's a real piece of shit.
Yeah.
So,
how long did it take to make?
Let's not talk about it.
I don't want to talk about it.
I only wonder because this is better than the game I had to review. So.
That I can believe. Clearly a masterpiece. 9 bananas out of 5 acorns. Just the finest game ever made. I will say though that the flashcards did kind of inspire me to do this, so they worked, right? That's all you can say about it.
I was kind of curious. Yeah. So how did the flashcards, how did it work that it inspired you to put together such a masterpiece?
So it's got 5 folders in it, and then in each folder are 4 or 5 of the flashcards. And then I did a random dice roll to pick the cards. So these are the cards that got picked out of that dice roll: Dystopian Future, Hand Drawn, Bullet Hell, and Colors Are a Weapon. Which I feel like I nailed all of these. There was no Olaf card, but I just added that as a wild card, so it all out.
You had to pick a BBEG, right? And who else?
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
So there you go.
Well, that was
my week.
That is a
question
tough
is-
act to follow for certain.
The real question is, David, what AAA games are there out there that you would consider
Oh.
playing instead?
Yeah.
Done.
If you liked this game,
That's right. I'm putting it on Steam tomorrow. Let's do it. $59.99. I got all kinds of DLC planned. That'll be the rest of it.
all right. So, do you want to go in the same sort of order that we went in last time? That
I
probably
don't
works.
remember that order. What was it?
It was me
I think
next.
Brian was second. And well, I bought that one.
I only said that because I knew it was me next. Okay, so my title was called Intrepid. Intrepid, let's see, get it full screen here. Yeah, so Intrepid was an interesting title, a la David Mason's piece that he demonstrated to us. This follows very closely in that same wake. I'll show you a little bit about what Intrepid is. Intrepid was a web-based program in which I could have sworn I was playing something else. Let me just roll the tape here. All right, so it doesn't work to click on the video screen. Let me try clicking on the actual video. All right, here we go. So Intrepid, you're a little guy walking through. You follow the cookie crumbs, the paths. You read some of the prompts. Great narration in this. You get some clues as to the dangers in this world. And I could have sworn that I was playing something that was a lot richer at this point, because I thought, you know, there's objectives, there's challenges within the environment, lots of narration to read, and you have to figure out some of the controls. It wasn't obvious like what controls did what. So, you know, I collected the chalice and I took a peek around and I started noticing that the roof collapsed on me just a little bit. So I knew that I had to get moving. But what I didn't know was that there was a real good reason to get moving, and that was the Indiana Jones boulder, yes, coming after me. So I had to get out of there, and at this point my heart was just racing to get through this game. So I was cruising across, it's creaking again. I'm worried, like, what's gonna happen? I'm probably gonna have to like jump at the last second. So I'll try to jump then. See if I get through
You
it.
were moving too fast, weren't you?
This game really wasn't.
Oh, so see, I didn't quite make it, but the bridge collapses, you fall, and you die, right? So I was like, okay, but I'm pretty sure at this point that I'm actually playing adventure, and so I have a good idea about the kinds of things that I can expect in this game. So I'm just going to kind of plow ahead. And so for the next 5 days, I worked through this scenario to figure out what were the other aspects of the game that I needed to find. And I went through an embarrassing number of iterations of this before finally I realized that there was a better way. I'll just pause it for a second. There was a better way for me to finish this game. I finally figured out some of the moves a little bit better. And so through this last run, I'll show you a little bit further into the game just so you can get a sense.
Were there instructions, or did you just have to wing it the whole time?
There were not instructions. This was the challenge, right? So I'm like playing the game and losing constantly, and I'm trying to figure out the instructions. So I'll tell you how I came across the instructions later or toward the end of this. But let's watch this last playthrough go, because I finally got somewhere in it and it was kind of cool. So same kind of setup, right? Working across the bridge, same old prompts. There are some other prompts that you can get here. If you do the wrong things, you can die in miserable ways. And so I finally collect the chalice, and it took a long time for me to get to this point. So then I go ahead and note just to start running. And at this point, I know I basically have to enable like a special move for this last step. And so I unlock that here on the last step. I realized this was where things fall apart. So I unlocked the special move, and there it is. I pretty much beat the game right there. Yeah. So I
The
win.
entire game?
I'm welcomed by riches and fame. This is awesome. This is great narration. You are a winner. All right. And then it takes you to the end screen where you are the winner. So that's Intrepid. And before you go out and download it and start playing it, I do want to put a caveat out there, and that is that I actually had to hack the game and create an ending because there wasn't one in the game. So just like David did, the way that I found my extra moves, there weren't any, by the way, is that I opened up the source code of this product, started digging through it. Turns out it's all JavaScript. And I was looking for, like, how do you play this game? What are the triggers that get things happening? And I figured out there was no ending to this game, and there were no moves, but left, right, and up only worked in some rooms, in some places. So I went in and created a new ending, which you saw in the text here. Obviously, this game isn't quite smart enough to know my name, so that was kind of your...
As soon as I thought, I'm like, why would it know your name? And I knew...
You knew there was tampering. It also didn't have the capability to display such... Now, I will say this little transition here, that is in the game. That is the richness of this game. But it did not have the ability to render a truck flying a flag quite that well. So I had to create that truck, and that was my my getaway car after I made my victory run. So yeah, that's Intrepid. What I actually wound up learning more about, just like David, I wound up learning more about the engine used, which is called Bitsy. The engine Bitsy was used to create this game, and so I figured out a lot about how to create games with Bitsy and how to set up triggers and narration and events and things like that. And the way that you had to edit the graphics were terrible. Like, if I could have pulled this into an actual graphics editor and created something, it would have been pretty cool. But it was intentionally designed to be limiting so that you were, I guess, putting more thought into the game narration. I don't know. But that's it. So out of 10 potatoes, I gave it only 1 banana because it didn't actually have an ending, and that was a little disappointing to me. I had to create my own ending. I guess that there's things learned there, but it wasn't the game I expected.
Those games are horrible when you get all wrapped up into the story to find out that there isn't an ending to it. That kills you at the end.
Yeah. What is the lore of Intrepid? Who is this guy?
Yeah, that's what I felt like I had to create. So, you know, I was thinking Tomb Raider, I was thinking Indiana Jones, and then I had Rebel Yell with the pickup truck and a flag in the end.
Tells you all you need to know.
That's right.
So you can like pull request your ending into his code and get some royalties?
I probably should, because I think my ending was way better than their absence of one.
It's just the theme of now you're going to try to improve every one of these, and
Right.
like
Right.
your name and
It's gonna be a rabbit hole. It's gonna get really rough.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, I think in this assortment, was it Jamie that was next?
I can. I don't remember what order we went.
Out of order.
Yeah,
Yeah.
go for it.
I'd like to be in the middle. So if anyone skims the video later on, that they'll miss my review.
They'll just skip over.
Getting it.
Sorry, we'll leave Chuck for last so we can.
That's all
one
gold
play.
anyway. It doesn't matter.
All right. I assume my video is showing for my Scared Square Games logo.
Nope.
Are you seeing anything?
I see Discord.
Yeah, we see
I
us.
see a frozen version of us.
Really? So I switch my desktop and it doesn't.
Dave is testing your frame rates. It's not good.
All right.
Are you even
do it
running on
this way, then.
144 hertz?
That garbage out of here.
Now where's my Discord?
You can pull up your Amazon shopping list and enter in your credit card. That'd be helpful too.
Right. Is that better? Or is it still only showing you Discord?
I'm just seeing Discord. If you're just trying to show like your whole screen, it's a different button. So if you go to share screen, there'll be like a window and then a screen at the top of the menu. You hit screen and then you hit like screen 1 or whatever. There you go.
Oh, that's what it was.
Now we can see it, so we can help you.
Is that your game?
Hey, there it is. Yeah, his game was Discord. It was it's a matching game.
Yeah, I'm still figuring it out. I'm a newbie.
Scared Square Games. This one's good. It's got a logo and everything.
It does have a logo. Yeah, this is Splodey Vaders, which I guess is like a Space Invaders, but as things break and pieces fly around, they can blow you up or blow other things up. Make that go away. It really is. I mean, these are the two keys. You have left
Nice.
and right.
You got
It
instructions.
automatically shoots, and there's nothing else to do but move left and right. But you can see those little pieces that fly around when things blow up. So they can hit you and they can hit other things. I believe you get more points, like you can get multipliers.
Ooh.
And there's you blowing up and things.
I think
can
you turn into
trigger.
popcorn, actually.
Yes, that is true.
David, agree you would play this game?
There isn't a single Olaf in it, so you're at it.
I mean, I feel like this is a game you would play and put money on it.
Yeah.
Or at least spiders.
And then whenever these guys get past you, like happening here, I guess there's some kind of fire that happens behind you. And I think when the third one comes through, it gets so high that it hits you. Figured out you can also scroll across from one side to the other. So I had some good dodges going there until I blew up again. But I think this got me through level 1. Once this finishes. So and I got an award of I got a new palette, but I had no idea what that was, so I kind of kept playing, and I think this might be where I got to level 2. And so I unlocked a new turret, or a new ship, so I thought I'd start having to go look around to figure out how to use these new things. Which there's not many places to go except the menu, so you can turn the music on and off. You can see your stats, I guess, see how many different multipliers you've hit. I think it's just cumulative over your playing, and then finally figured out that level 3 button lets you choose your ship, which
it's got a tech
I had that weird thing and thought maybe there was something else better, but I guess I hadn't unlocked anything else, so kept scrolling hopefully, but that was my upgrade. I won from that ship to that ship. And then trying my other palette, it just turned things green. I guess maybe there's some nostalgia, like a Game Boy sort of look.
EGA.
But I mean, those are the upgrades I won, so I kept playing, working on getting farther along and seeing what else I could unlock.
Was the game pretty? We're not seeing the frame rate necessarily, but was it pretty responsive and fast?
Yeah, it's pretty smooth. There's my new palette called 1-bit, which is probably exactly what you would expect. So I'm just getting worse every time.
Definitely looks like it was made for a phone.
Yeah, that aspect ratio.
That's true. That could be.
Are you getting some ideas for your DLC, David? This is just like a rotated version of yours, right?
Except with the tech tree.
Yes, and I got another.
Pay attention.
I'm going after.
I got another new ship, and it gets even worse.
Asteroid
now I just have a triangle. So I think actually at this point I just quit and gave up, and then came back another day because I was tired of things getting worse and worse and worse as I went. But I finally went back to play to see what I could unlock on future attempts. So got a new palette again. I guess it just alternates palette ship. This one's just orange instead of green.
Procedural.
I guess that's an improvement.
I feel like the game I played on my TI-82 in junior high school.
Right.
Yeah. And then I finally got a ship that at least looked better, but that was probably about as far as I took this is that ship. And then I pretty much figured I was done playing, so that was the end of it.
No different enemies or anything, just see how far you get, I guess.
Yep, the exact same thing.
Same
just
difficulty.
2 keys, left and right. That's all you need.
So purely
that game definitely took less time to make.
Yeah. So what I can appreciate about that, though, is that they did implement a tech tree into such a rudimentary game. So clearly they were developing some concepts.
Yeah, it's just a start.
Upside.
Okay, it'll be.
What was your score? What did you rate it?
How many bananas?
Yeah, I might give it 3 bananas.
Not bad.
3 bananas out of, I don't know, 12 potatoes.
Wait.
Yeah, that sounds fair.
All right, so we got Corey up next.
I can tell you, if I get these, I am just not going to do it. Like, there's just no way I'm going to do it.
Yeah. So okay. So I'm gonna serious mode here. Serious hat on. So I read through this. The whole thing is a PDF. It's a framework. So I read through it a couple of times, and it's like 23 pages. So I'll show it in a second, but I just didn't get it. I didn't kind of understand it at all. What it was, what it was trying to be about. And then there is one note in reference. There in one sentence, there's a reference for what this is kind of based on, or what style this is supposed to be. And then I went and sought that out, and then all of a sudden it started hitting me on what the author or creator of this framework was attempting to describe. And it's right there at the bottom of the last sentence there, where I'm not sure how to pronounce it. I probably botch it, but I don't know if it's a Yu-Gi-Oh! GX and Card Fight Vanguard.
I like that you spelled it wrong.
Oh, did they? Yeah. So I started searching and looking at that, and I wanted to show a couple of clips, but I wanted to describe what this framework was, kind of going through it the way I did, which was describing or reading through it. So I'll describe kind of what it is, and then I have a couple of YouTube videos for just a couple of short clips on those 2 particular referenced, and then a third one that I thought about that my kids had actually watched, which is kind of similar. But anyway, so the general idea of this is that it's a framework. So it describes how you make your own type of this game, and what this game is it's labeled as a tabletop RPG with cards, and that's where it kind of threw me off, because I'm in the beginning of the instructions, it references a deck, like, bringing your deck or putting cards in your deck. And in the clips, you'll actually see somewhat of that. But what was, without that experience of relating it to that, the first thing that came to my mind was like a Magic the Gathering deck, right? Where this is some type of, tabletop RPG. Yes. So I played MTG for a number of years. I was on a strike team for a couple of junior strike team for a couple of years, went to tournaments, did deck building, all that stuff. So when I read that this about decks, I'm like, let's do this. But nothing lined up. I did not understand at all what this was. So let's go over the description. This is the PDF, and it's basically these are the instructions, and we won't go through it all. It's 23 pages, but the short version of what this is everybody is. I cross-referenced it with kind of LARPing a little bit, where everybody comes with a card or multiple cards, in their proverbial deck, and they describe mini games in here, and the mini games in here. Well, first they talk about character creation, and this is where it started to kind of throw me, because it talks about a theme for your deck and an ace card, and it started talking about tokens, skill tokens, and heart tokens, and by this time I'm just like totally confused. And the examples they give for themes were like machines, water, dragons, knights, angels, demons, and I'm just like, okay. So in Magic the Gathering, there's a slide deck. You run with like pure red, run like a little slide deck or a burn deck. So that's what's going to my mind, these themes. And so I read the themes. It starts talking about an ace card, and then it goes into creating an academy, and then it describes the tokens, what they're for. And then this is where I really kind of lost any type of connection with what this was trying to describe. But again, we'll get to it, because I recently figured it out. So they describe these mini games, and what threw me off in these mini games was they seem to be all conversational. right? It's so the setup is that you decide what brought you and your fellow Duel Academy member to this. So you're fighting somebody, and you're supposed to be fighting this person for a reason. You're supposed to be dueling them for a reason. And I'm like, well, that doesn't make any sense, right? I don't get it. It says, choose your partner and the motivations going into this duel. Is it jealousy, sportsmanship? And I'm like, when I played Magic the Gathering, I don't recall any of those emotions at all. Someone said you have to beat this person to go to the next round, and I brought my deck and I beat them and I went to the next round, or lost and then watched everyone else for the next 2 days go to the end round. But so I'm reading this and it starts talking about emotions and conversations, and it describes conducting the conversation, and it describes what examples of what questions to ask, and it even encourages emotional buildup or lavish kind of grandstanding with your cards. So and it even adds in the other players who are not in the duel. This is a 3 to 5 player game. So the folks who are not in your duel, they are encouraged to like taunt or chant, to suggest cards to play, and when a card is played, really get emotional into it. I mean, these are the descriptors that are in here, right? Is that when someone plays that card, really like, oh my god, he played the blah 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 card, or she played the blah 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 card. It's all over now. Just some type of
encouragement,
bringing in all these. Well, it's not encouragement. It's like, well, that's the thing, is that I was just that's also where my head started to go, was like, okay, this is a kind of like maybe a D&D, if Dungeons and Dragons met Magic the Gathering, you have a DM who's taken the group through this and he's setting up this fight and you have to card. And then I started reading more and more into it, and they start asking, they give you some example questions, and these are the literal questions. So it's like, I throw a jab at someone dear to you. What do you say about the person you care about? If you choose to rise at it, gain a heart token. And I'm like, I thought I might have been dialed into this, but then I got lost. And I reveal a monster that you had previously thrown away is now mine. How does it strike fear into you? If you destroy it, gain a skill token, but lose a heart token. So there's all these questions. This is just like to ask, go back and forth, kind of banter, kind of bringing in the emotions. And I'm just totally confused. And then it got down to the ace question.
Show about a card game.
Well, that's the thing, is like, it's not. I mean, it's there's cards involved, but it's not really a card game, so to speak. I mean, it is, but it isn't. And I got to this ace question, and that's where my mind just exploded. Was I reveal my ace card in an astounding display of power and skill, professing me and its bond. How impressed are you? The player of the ace card gains both a heart token and skill token. If the other player has not yet answered this question, they may relinquish their right to use by summoning their own ace card to cancel the effect of the first player's ace question. And then it tells you how to close out the scene, close out the mini game. Whomever has the most skill tokens gets to dictate how the duel ends, but the player with the most heart tokens gets to dictate what the mood and tone of the ending is.
This feels like if you went to like an 8th grade drama class and you were like, you guys need to think of a game, and then everyone in the room just shouted at once. It feels like basically what you have here.
So, I'm actually really impressed with myself, because what I had was about a 20-second talk or presentation, and I'm already at like 2 or 3 minutes. So there's only way to go is up from here.
Out with your gut.
So anyway, you scroll through the end of the instructions, and it's basically tons of scenes. They don't describe like any cards, how to create your cards. And so I'm talking with my wife, about this, and I'm just like, this doesn't make any sense. And all these folks are going to be coming to this meeting with like, here's this game, here's blah blah, here's all this awesomeness, or here's their game, and I'm just like, this isn't even a game.
You were wrong. Yeah.
Well, right. So I started to get kind of a smile. I'm like, oh yeah, David got like a little card game, but then he like totally took it off the deep end and created his own game, and I'm like, shit, damn it. Okay, so I want to show these couple of clips, and after you see this, I think it'll pull it all together exactly what this is. So first is the intro of Yu-Gi-Oh! I believe it's how it's pronounced. I didn't look it up. Yu-Gi-Oh! GX. Here's the opening kind of do this every episode scene. And can you guys see this?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
All right, let me know if I need to turn the volume down.
I don't hear any volume.
It's fine though.
There's no. Okay, yeah, okay.
Invent anime noises in your head.
Right, exactly. Imagine, if you will.
Go fight me. Broken
No
English.
way.
I think I can route this out through my chat mic.
There are people who play Yu-Gi-Oh! As competitively as they play Magic or any other game.
I mean, we know what
You
the
guys hear the
Master
music
Race
now?
is, but yeah.
It sounds exactly like I thought it would.
That's right.
So that's kind of the opening. That's kind of like the opening. So you saw some, playing cards, and then you see all these like creatures and stuff like that. Here is the scene from, I believe, one of the first episodes, and this is two people in a duel. So this is starting to make sense here. There's cards, there's duels, and these two characters are in an arena filled with multiple courts. They kind of look from afar in the animation style. They look like tennis courts without like the tennis net, and there's they're each at one side, but there's a giant kind of pit, like American Gladiators, if you will, sectioned off, and there's multiple duels between people going on. And this is where the emotion portion, I think, was trying to be brought out in it, was that, you have an audience, people on the sideline, they're not in the duel. And then the classic anime style, reminiscence of like early Dragon Ball Z, where you watch a 20-minute episode and there's like 19 minutes of dialogue and 30 seconds of fighting and 30 seconds of credits before and after, right? So that seems to be what this is set up here. So I'll play this. So here the character is just taunting and playing and showing his card.
It's really funny that they're speaking in Spanish.
This is just a video I had. So you can see the person's actually playing a card, and he's actually being affected. He actually summoned a monster. I guess the closed caption didn't help anyway. So that started to tie in really the description of it, and then the other one that they mentioned was Card Vanguard is actually in English. I thought I had it at the right place. So in this, there's characters that are taunting each other as well, and they're playing cards. Anyway, that's the game, and the English may be the wrong word. There is a show on Netflix that my kids caught and watched. That's called I had the game open. I forget it already. Dinosaur King.
Okay.
And that's not so much dueling, but it's more from the maybe a Power Rangers kind of twist, where there are some kids who come across some cards and a device, and they can take their cards and put them into a device to spawn said creatures or mechanisms, and then they do that fighting against other and kind of keeping it with the Power Rangers theme. There's that evil group that just of robots or something that just keep on having these creatures that can spawn and get bigger, and the Dinosaur
Buy each card at your local Walmart for $19.99. Collect them.
I have no idea.
Get your parents' credit cards and call this number.
That's right.
There's so many of those shows that are just made like.
Welcome to CCG.
That's right. Well, thanks, Corey. How many plantains do you give it?
I give it. Let's see. I give it 10 corns on 1 cob.
10 kernels.
Yep.
No, I believe I was very clear in my rating. That's fine.
Which is even more confusing.
Hey guys, I'm really sorry, Chuck. I have to go. I have a crying child popping through the house.
You're gonna miss the best.
Sorry, guys. See ya.
All right.
See ya. All right, Chuckles. So you're up next. We saved the best for last.
See a black screen?
I do.
Yeah.
All right. So start up by remember this is the game that I was getting app crashes as soon as I downloaded it,
Lasercat.
and we were getting and I had to run debug diag on my crash to find out what it needed. That was fun.
Yeah.
But I feel like I had a real game this week compared to everybody else. It's a stupid story about a cat and an owl that live on a distant planet, and they're eating food, and there's an evil like wizard frog that comes and steals owl. Yeah, and he's holding him ransom for £1 million, British pounds, and you have to go save him.
Gives us a clue as to the originator, maybe.
It's a ridiculous story. I will show you that this is the game. You're pretty much running across a level, and there's stupid puns that you see pop up about everything.
Be careful.
It's a super, super easy game, just constantly walking through. The only problem you have is figuring out that you need to go down 4 blocks to go up and take this weird conveyor belt thing that takes you up forever and ever, and then you're in a different world. Like your objective is to get these keys that you see in the corner.
Yeah.
I play with a lot of animations in this one.
And that's
you get the
that's
keys,
very adventure-like as well.
Yeah. I'll show you. You're getting these keys. When you get a key, it takes you to the riddle realm, and you have to answer a riddle. But half the riddles were super easy. Half of the riddles I had to Google because I had no clue the answer to. They were all real questions, though. You get your little key thing. You take it over to your green guy. He saves your progress. And then at any point, you can warp to one of the other green guys that you've encountered along your way. Let's see here. This will show you. This is how it works out. You don't know what any of the map is. You're trying to discover the entire map. The little exclamation points are keys. You're trying to gain all the keys to get to Owl Cell. Very, very basic, very, very easy game. It took me about 2 hours, and I beat the entire game. I did want to show that this thing has 1 million errors in it. Like, I need to answer B, but there is no B.
A.
Maybe that was part
of
the
the
trick.
I'm running around.
The answer might be A.
Yeah.
It's not. So I pretty much had to quit the game and go back into it. After a couple times, it let me continue on with my progress. So it did let me keep going. Let's see here, it'll change. Showing that I had beat the game, I got all the map, all the keys. There you go. Then you go to the red square. When you go to the red square, you get to unlock the door. When you unlock the door, you walk across this little bridge thing, and it takes you to some subworld where you're fighting the boss. I went ahead and recorded the whole thing because the game was super short, so I recorded the whole boss battle. This is my 3rd attempt, and I added my own dungeon music to it, too.
They didn't have music for you?
I turned it off because it was the same song repetitive till the end of time, and I got tired of it, so I just added my own music.
Oh, I can see where this would be a little challenging.
This is my 3rd time playing the boss, and I beat it, though. It wasn't hard at all. You used to do it really quick.
You mean the end game boss, like the boss, or is
this is the very end? Yeah, that's Frog at the Frog Wizard.
Frog Wizard, yeah. I recognize him.
Why did he stop running?
What?
Why did he stop running only part way through?
I don't know. Then he goes and saves.
He was old man. He gets tired. You get the cheese? Oh, nice.
That was the owl, and then you have a master story about them falling in, and they're all happy, and they take a space taxi to go get burritos and nachos and black beans.
Excellent narration. Okay, yeah. There's a bit of story on this one.
And that's my story, and that's the entire game. It took me right at 2 hours to beat it.
Do you know what he created it in? She?
This game was originally on Xbox.
Oh wow!
In 2011.
Okay, so it's a real game.
That was my game. I feel like it was the perfect game for one of these because it took me exactly 2 hours to beat. It wasn't long enough where I got bored of it, but at the same time, it wasn't super hard or anything like that. I would expect like all of the games to be exactly like this. I don't think it was a great game by any means, but it was a perfect game for these reviews.
I do like the idea of a game being able to get completed in just a couple hours. I think that's pretty great.
I mean, I finished it in like by the 2nd day, and I was actually able to go back and review all my extra problems and add the stupid video editing things. Like I added a GIF, into pop-ups and like stupid stuff in there just because I could. Like I just wanted to see how the video editing part worked.
Yeah.
Did you say GIF?
Here we go.
Whatever we call it.
That's old school.
Yeah, it's GIF, Corey.
GIF is peanut butter.
Hey,
GIF is what.
Hey, that's the opinion of this group. I'm on board. I just wanted to make sure we set a level base here for our terms.
That's right, for our viewers. Okay, so good run through. We all got through our stuff. I think that was great. I did go ahead and, because there's been some complaints about the random number generation. Some people felt like it was maybe a little unfair, the titles that they got or didn't get. So we can try this a different way, and especially since some of the guys aren't here, we can just make decisions for them, and I think that's the best way to go. So what I did was I rolled multiple rolls, right? I rolled one for each of us, and I came up with all the numbers.
Are you still recording?
Yeah, we're still recording.
Sorry.
I mean,
Okay,
I can clip anytime. So I did multiple rolls, and that we actually did get a duplicate. So this is one of the things that the bot will fix. That it's going to be database backed, and so there won't be duplicates. But I fixed that. So then I now have a list of 6 titles that I thought we can pick based on name alone. So it's still a little.
Are they gamed too? Because I'm not doing a non-game.
You do not know. That's the thing. You do not know if it's a game or what. It could be a book for all we know. But based on the.
I can tell you if I got Corey's one, I'll just be like, all right, I'll see y'all in a week.
That's lame, Charles, and the internet will hear you. All right, so
I'm okay with that.
Based on names alone, we can hold a little bit of an election here and see what everybody wants to pick, and I'm fine with you guys picking, and I'll just, well, actually David will get the last one, maybe even Jason, since he's not here anymore either. But I'll paste the names out. I'm just going to drop them in the Gambit so we can see what the names are and you guys can see. All right. So there's one. These sound like games, by the way. Excuse my misspelling if I do that while I'm typing.
So you have to like go off the
They all
name
sound
and
like
not
you're right.
the actual
They all
link.
Yeah,
sound like
you're just going on the name at this point. This one's kind of weird.
I will take any of those so far. Like they sound like games.
Yeah, they sound like games. All right, so I'm looking at my screen, so I see the tiling. So Corey, you're on my top left. So which one do you want to pick?
I was not prepared for this at all. Okay,
So many decisions.
Let's go with the Enigma machine. Why not? I'll take the top one that's on my list.
Okay,
That you put in chat.
I am gonna paste that to you, and then you can do the thing where you paste it in the Gambit channel. All right, there you go. I sent you a PM for that. All right, Jamie, you're next.
I guess I'll just go with Sword in the Slime.
Okay.
I was not paying attention. Which one you picked, Corey?
He got the Enigma machine. And how about you?
I guess I'm going Paranormal.
You're
Go in
going,
order. I don't care. As long as they're in game, I don't care.
You're going Paranautical?
Yeah, as long as they're a game, I don't care. Like that's fine.
Well, we don't know.
Right?
Oh,
Mine looks like a
impossibly
main
fast
game.
FPS roguelike. That's definitely a game. All right, and
That is definitely a game for me.
I'm gonna pick. I'm gonna pick Hatch for myself.
Nice.
That's
Like
another project
Doom and
management
Quake
tool.
together.
What's that?
That says like Doom and Quake together.
Oh, nice.
I was asking if Hatch was another project management tool.
Right, I'm hoping.
Right.
Nope, it looks like a hopefully a real game.
That looks like a good game.
Yep. Yep.
A strange tower in a strange land.
All right, and so then we'll have a couple other choices available for. I'll just send it over to David and Jason and see if they'll pick them up.
Pull in order. If I could retrace and
Yeah, Retrace
What order
is
does it matter?
going to David. and then I'll give funky quads for construct to Jason.
Let's go see what we give.
Yeah.
Did those in your the making of the bot? Did the images I sent, are those helpful?
They will
I don't know if
be.
you already
I
have those or not.
I'm glad you told me they were blobs, because I was like, oh, you sent me PNGs. You know, I may have to blob store those. But yeah, you sent me base 64s, so that's perfect. And you sent me the unfurls, so which is good. I can pull that into the database. But what I was going to do is have the bot do the unfurling, so that if we added a title later, it would just add it into the database as well.
All right. Based on how the website is constructed, that might be extremely complex. We can talk about offline another time.
It definitely doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't work for the website, because I looked at that too, and it definitely doesn't work. It would just be like manually if we went in and added something for whatever reason. If we wanted to add to the list, you know, with another list, then I could basically do a load data in file. You know, here's a bunch of URLs, load them all.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
All right, and Retrace looks like definitely it's a mystery game, so that's for David, and then Nice Try Potato. Where is
Kay gets one too, doesn't he? You get a playback next week?
Who? Well, he got one from last week that he didn't do. So he's still got to do that one. And my son Balthazar will have one shot. So he's finished that. He captured a bunch of video, but then he went to edit it and realized that he may need different video, and he, like some of you, is learning how to use the video editing, all that kind of stuff. Okay, and it looks like the only one, so we all picked wisely, because the one I sent Jason is 3D Spites and 3D Camera Control for Construct 3. So it's not even, it is a componentry probably for a game framework. So that may not, I don't know if you can put.
So you're saying you don't want him to participate with this?
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Good
like
luck.
his very first time, it's like, here.
Well, I
Yeah,
sent
it's eligible right now. It shows examples of how to use it. Yeah, it's not a game.
Yeah, that one. Well, and it's not even a utility, right? It's not anything that can be used.
That's the role of the bot.
It's the role of the bot, exactly. That's what I like. All right, I think that was a successful night. So thank you all for sticking it out and doing it, even though you were not sure about your titles.